Hey guys, welcome back to another cybersecurity unfiltered. I think that's the name we've been using. Anyway, Matt had surgery last week. I think he's doing fine, but someone had to wire him money last week while he was on pain meds. We might not be doing the podcast this week.
I mean, are you kidding me? I put a down payment on a car from that Venmo I sent him. Venmo
Chris, stop fishing me. All right. I know I was painkillers and a little down and under and everything, but come on, man.
I was really hoping for a down payment on a house, but he wouldn't Venmo me that much.
Nope. No, sir.
That makes me think of, the bad guys come along. They're not getting people at their best. They're getting people when they're not paying attention. And I would guess that on painkillers, people aren't paying too close attention.
So jokes aside on that one, when I was on the painkillers from shoulder surgery, I was not on my email. I was not the one handling anything because I shouldn't have been. So keep that in mind, because if Chris had fished me, I would have been feeling generous and sent him every penny I have. So he could have bought.
No, missed an opportunity, Chris.
On that cord.
0 pennies is what he's trying to say.
0 pennies. I've got 7. Man, I mean, there's not much you're gonna get.
It's interesting though, because you mentioned painkillers, but stress too, right? If we're in a stressful situation, we have a stressful day, we don't necessarily make the best decisions.
Well, I think that's where having systems in place is the best thing you can do. And if you're not sure about something, it can wait. If you're not sure about an email or a link or an answer, just wait a day.
It's kind of like changing the camera views in the middle of a podcast.
I'm in space.
It throws you off.
I was off the painkillers, Bob. What is happening?
I thought he was back on for a second.
A little too long. You want to be back on the drugs? There you go.
No, go back.
Oh,
I like the triangle situation.
That was kind of neat.
It's like the new food pyramid, except for this is like the new food pyramid. Oh, we'll leave that one alone.
I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole.
Hey, it's all keto. I'm good.
A galaxy long pole.
This is gonna go sideways. It's all keto. It's all good. No, it's not. It has milk. It has milk in it, dude. At the top of it, full fat dairy. Anyway, and fruits and vegetables. Anyway, so something interesting happened over the past week, outside of Matt's surgery and him and me trying to fish him for Venmo. There's a website called BreachForums. It's been available on the clear web, so the normal web that we just use Chrome or Edge for, or Firefox, or if you're really feeling saucy, Opera. But they do have a dark web presence as well. But they got hacked by another hacker, and the details are juicy. Very, very juicy.
Wait a minute. What are they really getting from that kind of forum?
Well, they have exploits. They have like data that's been stolen. So and they're trading it, right? They're selling it inside of that form.
Okay.
So the hacker, his name is James, allegedly. So good job, James. There's a 4,400 word manifesto titled Doomsday on a website that he put on the clear web for you to go do that, and you can actually download the entire MySQL database dump of BreachForums. And it includes some interesting stuff. There was 323,986 user records. So usernames, emails, registration dates. They have hash passwords, so you can't necessarily hack the passwords there, but you might be able to do some correlation later to get to those. There's some unencrypted private messages between buyers and sellers, detailing out specific transactions for the stolen corporate data. They also got a password protected. They also included a password protected PGP private key. And then he released a password for it. So it grants access to the key used by the BreachForum administrators to sign official messages.
Oh, nice.
So basically like breaks the whole site's chain of trust. Yeah. So fun there.
So don't go there to check it out right now. But anyway.
No, I'm not going to say the name of the site that you can go to either, but I did read the 4,400 word manifesto, and to say it's bizarre is something else.
I'm adding this to my reading list for tonight.
Yeah.
I need some entertainment while I'm healing up.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. It's interesting too. They had location data on some of the people that were logged in there. So there's a chance that if you didn't hide your identity, like when you went there through a number of certain things, you might have given up where you are. So it's just interesting hack the hacker situation. Apparently,
dude, how could you just skip over reading any of the manifesto, like even the first sentence? This is amazing. I've been called the most brilliant hacker of my generation is an inaccurate statement that transcends generations.
Yep.
I'm a predator. Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Read the rest.
Oh, it gets more fun as you read on.
ChatGPT masterpiece or what?
No, I think he actually wrote it. So it's actually pretty long. It's a pretty long one. So it's interesting that this whole thing happened. BreachForums has been hacked before. This is like BreachForums version 2. So just a note out there, if you sign up for this stuff and you're trying to buy stuff, if you don't hide your identity really well, you may be giving yourself up in the future. So,
well, there is something to be said about just not buying illegal stuff on the internet and getting caught too. That whole do the right thing. I don't know. A lot to ask.
No, instead you just run Silk Road and you get pardoned. So.
Not touching that with a galaxy's length pole.
Oh, I will. Openly selling drugs and all that stuff on the dark web, and then you get pardoned. Not a fan of that.
No.
No. So, but they were selling stolen corporate data. So I'm getting hacked by hackers. Whatever. This is something that's probably good, but it doesn't. It's just a little speed bump. The whole situation that we're dealing with data leaks and everything like that. I'm sure BreachForums will start themselves back up again. Will they gain trust? We'll see. But it's something that happened right now. Another interesting one for our corporate folks that run VMware ESXi. Between February 2024 and 2025, there was a vulnerability being used by Chinese hackers to escape a virtual machine and actually attack the hosts. So that's bad. Not supposed to happen. The initial access was through a Sonic Wall VPN appliance that was compromised. So if you had that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only way that they could get in. But if they got in, that was one of the ways that they got in. But yeah, they could take over your ESXi, and if they do that, then technically you could launch ransomware and things like that. Apparently this is being actively exploited right now because people maybe didn't want to pay the VMware tax that came about when Broadcom bought them.
Yeah, I thought ESXi was dead.
No, it's still out there. You still buy it. So if you're running a legacy version and you haven't patched since March of 2025, you may want to rethink that strategy. Also, this is very important. Broadcom and nearly the rest of the cybersecurity world recommends not putting vCenter or your ESX web interface directly on the internet. Just saying that's a bad idea.
Don't leave your front door. It's good advice.
Same thing with the remote with the Drax. We find them all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's basically server management. They're leaving server management stuff available on the internet. There's no need for that.
Here's a really good idea, IT folk. When you have a PME, or we'll just call it, or the ability to power off a server, view its console and stuff like that, publishing that open on the internet, probably not a good idea.
It's akin to physical access, really.
Yeah. This goes back to the LifeLock dude putting his social security on the side of the bus and driving it around and wondering why his identity got stolen. I'll never forget that. And yet they still sold LifeLock and they still got sold to Norton. They still made
that was the mind-blowing part to me was it didn't work.
Yeah.
And somehow they sold all the clients in the list and retired. So
let's take this one step further.
Complete failure, to be honest.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, let's go one step further. Don't just change a port. And for everybody out there, the internet works with ports. If you don't know that, that's fine. RDP is 3389. if you go to a website, you're using probably 443, port 443. If it's old, it's port 80, and Chrome has a really funny way of handling that now. We'll go to that later. But a lot of people's idea was to obfuscate something would to say, okay, we're just going to change a port number. Well, you can just scan all the ports and it'll tell you what it is. So that's not really, it doesn't work either.
You can scan, you can like knock on a bunch of doors and see who says,
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, maybe we shouldn't make that reference right now either.
Giving hacking advice online, huh?
Yeah.
My bad.
No, this is just something to know, right? So, because
Yeah, I get it.
we see it all. I mean, it's 2025, but I still see this, right? We still see this. We go into a new
Like
customer,
like port 390 or 3682 or something random, but it's still scannable.
We go into these places and this stuff is available on the internet, and it could be somebody opened it up a long time ago and they forgot about it and they just left it, and maybe these companies, maybe the company didn't have IT, or they had something that was just like, it's like, this is just basic level stuff that people need to know about. So if you haven't looked at that in a long time, maybe it's something, talk to somebody, reach out to somebody to at least like take a look at it. Because skeletons will burn you. At the end of the day, skeletons will burn you. So if this stuff is left open over time, somebody will find it eventually. And if there's an exploit to it, it will be exploited.
Well, speaking of skeletons, that was people, a couple of years ago, we saw that with the exchange servers. Those on-site exchange servers that were sitting there that people never turned off, opened the doors.
Yeah. They weren't even doing anything, but they were an attack vector at that point.
I mean, even SharePoint, right? SharePoint's had its own vulnerabilities if you had on-premise SharePoint. But yeah, it's wild that this is still a problem that we have to talk about. But hey, man, it's 2026. I don't know. There's so many things that like you'd think would be taken care of by now, but a lot of the basic stuff that people need to do just isn't getting handled. Or like I said before, it's skeleton that just somebody forgot about, left open, and you think you're safe until one day you're not. So it's not doom. It's not supposed to be doom and gloom. It's just the reality of what we deal with, right?
Well, and it's just general IT hygiene. It would be removing that when it's done, or
Right.
But anyway, that's one reason to do security audits too. Try to hack yourself, have someone try to hack you. I know some people that with that and find anything open.
Yeah, and I was doing my obligatory Jaguar Land Rover research, because why not?
Are they still a company at this point?
Yeah. So Tata Consultancy Services, who they signed a big deal with in 23, I think, to do some stuff. They've now hired over 150 cybersecurity experts to oversee Jaguar Land Rover. Even though it sounds like they may have been the reason they got it in the first place, allegedly. So that's fun. But it looks like they're making progress on trying to be better. They were tied to the Marks and Spencer one too, where somebody called in and basically had password reset. So yeah, it's something that's happening right now, allegedly. I'm going to put allegedly around all this, but that's something I was reading that they are making a big investment into cybersecurity and doing more active management. So
that'd be good. I like
it's good for them. Yeah. If that's happening, that's really good. Not even allegedly, just really good. But it just kind of highlights what we've talked about before with the supply chain and stuff like that. Like they're trying to do it the right way now, when they could have just probably did it the right way in the first place. Because when they hired them in 2023, they were doing a big project. It was like $1 billion, I think, over like 4 years or 5 years or something like that, allegedly, to the contract. And everything there wasn't enough separation. There wasn't enough, from what it sounds like, there wasn't enough separation of segmenting in the network. And once they got in, they were able to get to the machines. It sounds like allegedly they could have done damage to the machines or done damage to things that were on the line. This is one of the reasons they shut down. So,
yikes.
Yeah. So
impact.
Yep. So it sounds like they kind of got a wake up call, which is good. It's expensive. It's an expensive lesson that we've talked about a lot. It's gonna be billions of dollars of losses and stuff like that they have to deal with. But maybe at the end of the day, this is all better for, this leads to people understanding that the supply chain is what it is and leads to better things. But we'll have to see about that. I did read, do you guys read the World Economic Forum cybersecurity stuff?
Not recently. I've been a questionable mindset for 2 weeks.
Oh, this has been a great reading while you're, dude. This has been a great reading while you're high on a
Oh,
this has been fantastic reading. Come on now.
All right, I'm listening. Give me the intro. Give me like the what would it be? Synopsis that hooks me.
They do it. Well, they do a global cybersecurity outlook every single year. So they publish 2026. They just published it. One of the things that they asked was, does your organization have a process in place to assess the security of AI tools before they deploy them?
Mm-hmm.
So in 2025, 63% said no. For 2026, it flipped and 64% said yes. Progress. I don't know how in the world they published something in January of 2026 and actually have a poll in 2026.
I was just wondering that because that's, we're 2 weeks in here.
Yeah, but that's part of it.
yeah.
They're talking about like the interesting part is they talk about like the cyber risks have increased or decreased in the past year. The perception is AI vulnerabilities have increased, like 87% of respondents, or the perception is 87% of AI vulnerabilities have increased in vulnerabilities. Cyber-enabled fraud and phishing is up 77%. This is a perception. We don't have a reality yet, but it's interesting how people's perception is AI is like the worst thing in the world for vulnerabilities and things like that. Supply chain disruption jumped to 65%. So, the top, like, how do I put this? When they ask these companies, or when they ask the participants, which of the following does your organization consider in its overall cyber risk mitigation strategy? They actually had number one was geopolitical motivated cyber attacks by a lot, 64% of the responses. Not AI, not natural disasters, not disinformation, not convergence. Just geopolitical.
Yikes.
So, yeah. So something to think about. It's like 60 pages. It's like 64 pages long. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it. We'll probably talk about it in the future episodes, but I just want to kind of highlight like some of the stuff in there. So again, if you're bored and you want to read something, have at it.
I might.
Anyway, I just did a quick search for the for ESXi across the U.S.
What did you come up with?
707. I found 771 ESXi servers on the network.
And that's just what you find quickly known.
I know version 8.0 was still exploitable. So I don't know what patches after that because I haven't looked at VMware patches in a while. So if it's prior to 8.0, I think it was 5.1 to 8.0 were all exploitable. So the fact that you found the VMware published on the internet, we're about ready to end this podcast right now. I'm just going to go throw up. Hold on.
It's still happening. Yeah. Just go shut them down.
What country has the most? Since you're doing that,
that was just the U.S. I limited my.
Oh, that was just US?
US.
Oh man.
Here I'll show.
Remove the filter. Let's go world. Let's go worldwide. Let's go.
It actually identifies, when it does the geo mapping, it's like, those are all data center locations. Oops, hold on. Forgot to share it.
We gotta go Pitbull. We gotta go Mr. Worldwide here. Let's go.
You want me to go worldwide?
Yeah, go worldwide. Now that you're just out showing out your browser window there.
Vibe coding. Bob, you've been vibe coding?
No, I was going to bring that up during this call.
Okay.
When you were talking about things getting screwed up.
He's trying to figure out how to replace me.
Actually, the U.S. is at the top of the list.
Yeah. Followed by Canada. That's kind of an economical hierarchy there,
Wait,
not it?
CN is China, right?
Canada.
Is it?
I think.
I'm pretty sure it's China.
That's how I'd abbreviate it.
And Chris, like you're saying, multiple service ports.
Canada, yeah, Canada's CA. It's
2,200.
Okay. Dang. Okay.
So it's probably Great Britain, and then Germany. And then
Great
Singapore?
Britain, DE. I don't know what SG is.
Is SG Singapore?
What's
I think so.
SG?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Singapore. Yeah, it's Singapore. Cool.
But yeah, so
30
seconds to find.
And that's just easy to find. I mean,
well, and these highlight the ones that are published on the internet. Obviously, you'd have to go through it. Well, we're not doing that, but like you could go through and like if you had a list, if you were supposedly to extrapolate a list of this, you could look and probably see what versions they are, and then determine whether they're attackable or not. Not that you should do that. Not that anybody should ever do that, or we would do that. We definitely would not do that.
Or know how to do that, or have the means to find those easily and do that.
Yeah, but it just highlights just like some of the mismanagement that's out there. I don't know. I see this stuff all the time. So, but to recap,
you don't want to be on that list. That's really what the bottom line is.
There's a lot of lists I don't want to be on. Yeah, see,
Anyway,
I'm never
we're
that.
digressing here.
But
It's good to see that Matt's back with us and in the land of the living.
Yes,
and coherent.
Oh, as coherent as ever. Anyway, don't have high expectations for improvement.
So, to recap, please, if you have an old infrastructure that's been around for a while, even if you've done some updates, kind of go look for some skeletons. Look to see if you have stuff published on the internet that you maybe shouldn't have published on the internet. And I don't know what else you guys got.
That's it. Just figure out what you got. What it's the start of the new year. Let's start the year off right. Let's figure out what you have on your networks and get rid of the stuff that you don't have. We don't wait to spring to do the cleaning at this point, because it's going to come bite somebody.
Couldn't say it better. And next week we'll talk about AI data centers, because I have a fascinating thing we can talk about. So cool.
I'm in.
All right, see you guys next week.
See you next week.